I forgot to tweet it. I put it on the Twitter.
On yours and Eric's recommendation, I watched Idiocracy this week.
It wasn't really a recommendation. Let me first say that. It's the kind of movie I can tell you, first time I watched it, literally like, what?
It's one of those, I'm sure, that gets better every time you watch it.
I know, and I'm not going to say the word better. It makes more sense the more you watch it. And I'll just say it like thickens up. It gets richer more times you watch it. And unfortunately, the more you watch it, the more you walk around and be like, yeah, Idiocracy.
Yeah. It's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's a terrible movie, but the more you watch it, the more you appreciate how good the terrible movie is.
I remember the first time, because the first time I watched it, I was too young, I want to say, and I just didn't get some of the jokes. I just didn't get. And then I remember when I watched it, and I started getting some of the jokes, and I was like, I just remember turning to my dad saying, why are we watching this more? This is like what entertainment's supposed to be.
Yeah, just the subtleties, like how many times does somebody hit a cat?
Yeah, that was one of the things I actually. They said 3 things about the Holy Grail that you don't ever know either until somebody tells you or you've just watched it too much. And one of it was the number of times cats get either thrown, hit, or stepped on or whatever. I remember thinking, what? And I remember watching it after that. I was like, man, there's a lot of cat.
I was in a meeting today, and at the end of it, the guy said, do you have any questions for me? And I said, what's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? And he went, what?
Right. African or Australian or something?
Yeah, European. Yeah.
European. African or European? I don't know.
It's like, you're not down. You just lost cool points.
Exactly.
People recognize that.
Right. And like if somebody asks for water once in a while, I say, you mean like from a toilet?
I get that now.
And if they get it,
electrolytes.
And if they get it, and if they don't, it's just like, oh, here's your water, get away.
You like money and having sex? We should hang out.
Oh, and that guy's vocal inflection, perfect.
I like money.
Yeah, perfect. Leave me alone. Okay, we should be streaming. We are streaming. Audacity, if you can go ahead and launch your Audacity, hit record in 3, 2, 1, record. Test. I still don't know what I did to my Audacity. I'm going to end up just uninstalling it and purging it and reinstalling it, and that has to fix it.
I want to go back. I don't like the new version. Actually, there are certain things about the newest version I don't like, but unfortunately, under Linux, that's not easy to do.
It depends on which Linux.
Repository.
Yeah, it depends on which Linux you're doing and how old you want to go back. Because I have like Synergy locked on all my boxes to stay at now it's like 5 versions back.
Well, I did a dist upgrade and it came with it. And so now I'd have to totally remove and hack out the repositories and put a new one in and yada, yada.
Well, no. That's how I do. I just cheat. I just find a deb package for the version you want, install it, and then go into Synaptic and just say lock.
Yeah. Ignore this.
Yeah. But then, of course, stuff can get flaky after a while.
If I fall asleep on you, don't take it personally. It's just been a very long day.
Oh, it's been a long week. You don't got to apologize to me, okay? 4:56.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Android App Addicts, episode 456. I am Mark, your host, sometimes called the Sultan of the Soapbox, and joining me this week is really the only guy you need, the DoorToDoorGeek, Mr. Steve McLaughlin. Hey, Door, how you doing?
Man, it is literally a crazy week. 2017 already. I'm exhausted. can I just take a nap already?
Yeah, naps. When you're a kid, a nap is the worst thing ever. You hit about 35, and naps become glorious.
Yeah, it's like I remember my son literally, because I told him that. He said, "Well, how about I every time I want to take a nap, we like write it down, and then we like so I can cash it in later." It doesn't work like that, son. Because if it did, I would have done it.
I remember when I was in college, I could sleep 17 hours. I could go to bed at 1 a.m. and wake up at midnight and be just fine. But now I can't stay in bed. It's just getting old. It's a thing.
Yeah. When somebody asked me at work, what is your definition of depression? Because I was going over him like personalized medicine, personalized healthcare. I said, me? The day I realized I couldn't just sleep and keep sleeping, because it really was a good feeling to wake up 12 hours later, hop up, go ride a skateboard for 12 hours as a kid, and then go back to bed and sleep for another 12 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There's certain seminal moments. Like I remember I knew I was a grown-up the day I both threw up and had to clean it up. Like, oh, I'm an adult now.
Yeah, man. Speaking of throw up, we had my youngest nephew, stay over my house last weekend. I love this kid dearly, and this is just proof how much I love the kid. At 3:30, my oldest one screams at the top of his lung, "He's throwing up! He's throwing up!" I don't even know what he's saying. I just walk out the door and I can see into my youngest one's room. My nephew is in the top bunk, leaning over the top bunk, spewing chunks on the floor, falling right by my youngest one's head, and my youngest one just sleeps right through the whole damn thing. And I just convinced the nephew, come down, hop in the tub real quick just to make sure, while I clean this up. Because it was nasty. I don't know what that kid ate. And I didn't even say anything to his mom because really she owes me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids puke. Right.
So this is the show where we talk about Android apps, not kids throwing up. So maybe we should do that. But before we go on, we need to address the pour one out for our fallen comrade. Eric is not with us tonight. He had a combination of travel issues and car trouble, right? Something like that.
Travel issues, car troubles, weather issues, and slow internet speeds. So he had the worst of everything. Yeah, he broke down on the way to his thing he had to go to. And then when he finally got there hours later, he almost immediately had to book an extra like 2 or 3 days there because he said the entire town was getting ready to ice over. So he's basically locked in a hotel room ordering pizzas from a local place probably for like 3 days. And he has very slow internet service. I think that's the definition of depression that he'll say next week.
All right. So we have no email in the old in basket there. So this is the time when I will say AAA at podnutz.com. AAA at podnutz.com.
And the email address was in the show last week. I'm just saying.
So, Dor, we got nothing else to say, but I have to ask the hardware question. Any interesting hardware come across your desk lately?
Not physically, but virtually. I did see this. Let me up here. I forgot. I don't know if this is part of another Kickstarter because it literally just got delivered. I believe it was called Omega 2. But of course, every time I heard it, I kept thinking Omega 13. I believe is what it was called. Do? Yeah. But no, sadly, that wasn't it. It was a mini computer that just got shipped. This one is called Omega Mix. It claims all in one, it can be multi-purpose is a real thing. To either being a TV box, an HD slot, a speaker, a Bluetooth speaker, all running Remix OS. I will say it's interesting. It wasn't very expensive from what I remember. Oh yeah, right now, all I see is $10 or $1 reward. Maybe I'm crazy. I can't remember.
Yeah, so far it's got $20 pledged of the $105,000 goal. So that's not not well on its way, but it's 22 days to go, so it's still young.
Well, and if you scroll down, they only have one pledge amount, and it's $1
or 10 pounds. Make a pledge without a reward. So it's 1 pound or 10 pounds.
So I have to believe that they're working on their pledges, is what I guess.
And they currently have one backer.
Yeah, I'm not confused at all. I'm really, really confused. But this is the kind of thing. Whenever I hear remix, I get my ears always perk up a little bit. And Omega, if it's the same company, which I will try to check out and post it in the channel. I don't care. It's still interesting. I still like it. I hope they get their pledge stuff figured out. It looks like the board had good ports on it. It was a weird shape though. It was like bumped out one side bigger than the other in like a dome-ish spherical kind of thing.
This looks like one of those things that will never get off the ground. Even if they make their goal, they're going to find out, oh, making stuff is hard.
Well, that's why I'm hoping it's the same one. No, it ain't. So they just joined January 11, 2017. It's not the same people. Dang. I was hoping it was. I could see like 8 people getting shipped this. And then whenever someone asks them, what's that? They'll say, never mind, it's too long of a story.
I backed on Kickstarter the Snaps magnetic USB connector. We're going on 17 months, I think now. And they're not even sending emails anymore. I mean, they were sending updates saying, had some manufacturing problems. We're working on it. We sent out the first batch. Turns out everybody thought they sucked. We're starting over. And now they're just radio silent. And it's not a big deal. It was like $30 and it was an idea that I wanted to back. That's the thing about Kickstarter. You're not buying a product. If you think you're buying a product, you're using it wrong. You're investing in an idea that you want to see come to be. But I think that this Omega Mix, it's a TV box with it's trying to be like a Google Chrome kind of, right? So it's got a speaker so you can listen to music. So it's kind of the Amazon Echo, but also a TV box. I don't know. It's trying to be all things to all people, I think.
And to me, that's the hardest thing to do, is try to be that all-in-one super thing. And whenever I see that, I will say I always remember the beginning of the movie Goonies. And the kid's dad trying to sell this device, I can't remember what it's called, did everything from brushing your teeth, toothbrush in it with toothpaste in it, tweezers, razor to shave with, all in one like block. And of course, it didn't work.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful about this. But what is cool is we live in a time where microprocessors are so cheap and expensive that this is even a thing. I mean, cheap and inexpensive. That's redundant. So cheap and readily available that somebody would like, hey, for $150,000, we can make stuff, or $105,000. This would have been $100 million a few years ago. Oh,
at least. And I'll say this was the week of CES, where historically everybody would say they have their favorite X or Y thing from CES. I can tell you, I have not heard much at all from CES. The only hardware, Android, anything I've heard at all is next month is supposedly an Android Wear announcement at Mobile World Congress. But CES, I'm not really hearing anything except for Asus augmented reality, Asus Zenfone AR. 8 gigs of RAM in this phone. It can do Project Tango, augmented reality, and virtual reality. So it's going to be an extremely niche device, but I like seeing small form factors with more than now 4 gigs of RAM more often, because that just tells me the price of 6 or 8 gigs of RAM will keep coming down.
So the one thing out of CES I've seen that excites me, also on Kickstarter, I'll put a link up here, is the SPUD, which stands for Spontaneous Pop-Up Display. It is a foldable 24-inch display. Basically, it's a pop-up screen that unfolds sort of like an umbrella and has a mini projector behind it. So you connect it to your phone, your device of choice, and you have a portable 24-inch screen that you can fold up and put in your backpack. I think it's a brilliant idea. I question, it's about $400. That's a little pricey, not a lot pricey. I mean, a good 24-inch screen is going to be, $200. So you're double the price for the portability. It's an idea that I think is a good idea, but I'm not sure the implementation is fully there.
Well, this is what I don't get. How is the screen? Okay, it's foldable. So the screen isn't a screen.
Right. Well, it's they've somehow managed to get it to fold up in such a way that it doesn't wrinkle. But yeah, it's a projection. It's a rear screen projection that fits on a desktop.
See, and I worry about brightness, but the one thing I kept hearing about this was no issues with brightness to where you could even use it outdoors.
And if you watch the video, it's really very impressive.
The first time
Sorry, I didn't mean to play the audio there.
At that moment, you were no longer tied to your living room for your energy.
Won't stop. and so they show people just popping it out in seconds, connecting something to it, then popping it back, wrapping a cord around it. It's a really neat idea, and at least in my personal experience, completely unique. I've never seen this idea before. So that excites me.
Yeah, I've always seen people try to do mini projectors, but not projectors and screens. This is the kind of thing I could see, like, dare I say, emergency responders or somebody like that possibly being able to really take advantage of this, because they could literally just like shove it in their backpack or in their bag. I don't know. I don't know how much it would catch on. I like inside of house usages. I don't know, but like one of their shots they show on their video in a camping trip. Yeah, to me that makes sense.
Right. Of course, at that point, it's got to have its own power supply, and I don't know that it does. But it's just a neat idea. We so many times when we talk about foldable displays, we're talking about LCDs that you can fold. This is a unique idea in that they've built a box, a rear screen projection box, and stuck a Pico projector in it. It's a clever use of its existing technologies.
Yeah, and because it's a projector, I'm not mad at the price. Because this is going to have to be over $100 is my logic. Has to be.
Yeah, well, their backer price is $349, but I think their street price was going to be $400.
Yeah, and I would say the only thing that they conveniently don't show is the power cord, and if the power cord has a power brick on it.
Well, there is that. But in the videos here, they show it side by side with a monitor, and it's brighter than the monitor.
Yeah,
of course, that cool. Could just be they did that for effect. But anyway, that's the one thing that I've seen come out of CES that interests me. That and lots of cool drone tech.
Well, the drone tech, I'm sure, is going crazy. Very cool. Very cool.
Like there was this one thing that I read an article about, or maybe it was on a podcast, I don't remember. But it was a drone for strategically fertilizing crops. Instead of just broadcasting fertilizer wherever, you send a drone up in the sky. It maps the fields. It recognizes the difference between a plant and dirt, and then goes back and picks up a load of fertilizer and runs it along a row, and then goes back and picks up another load. And so it does it efficiently and inexpensively with literally zero manpower. That's a neat idea, a neat use of existing tech. There's nothing about that doesn't already exist. Somebody just put stuff together.
Well, another tangent, Mark. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you've at least heard of this show, and I'm guessing a small percentage of our audience has heard about this show, but I encourage people who haven't. YouTube Connections with James Burke. In that show, he highlighted how inventions aren't really inventions. They're multiple things taken from different areas, put into one thing. It's rarely this huge innovation that really does change things. It's people taking things that currently exist and just combining them in unique and different ways. And that to me is like the perfect example of it. And I could see it, the biggest thing being an extreme cost savings because it's all targeted. They don't have to waste any.
All right. Enough of vamping. Let's get on with our first Android app, my friend. Ready to go.
Okay. First one I'm going to bring again. Apparently I'm like throwing back into the time tunnel again. This is called The Hacker 2.0 by Angry Bugs. T for teen, only 54 reviews, does have some sort of in-app purchase. Completely free. 3.7 average reviews, not a whole lot of reviews. Updated January 3rd, 2017, between 500 and 1,000 installs. Current version 1.0, aka this is still pretty new. This is hard to describe, I will say that, but if you watch the video, I'm sorry, there's a video, you will get at least some of the gist of this. The only thing I can compare this to is the old game from Super Nintendo called Shadowrunner. Where in the game, you're basically doing kind of like the movie Hackers did, or kind of like the movie Virtuosity, I think it was, did, where you have to virtually hack systems and hack computers. It's basically like Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go, and all those other games, but it's Neo, you're in the Matrix stuff. I'm not a huge fan of those Go type games. I was actually kind of a fan of this game. I love the hacking. If you pause the video around 53 seconds, this is one of the ways that you had to hack. You had a window of 3 across, and I think it was 5 or 6 deep screenshots scrolling up. On the left side, on the top, there's 4 screens. To hack, you basically had to just match the screens. So you have to, as quick as you can, look at the left pattern, find the screens in the middle and drag them over to the side. It was little things like this that just changed the gameplay enough to make me still be at least a little bit interested in it and keep playing it. It's just weird is what I want to say.
I know this is the point where I'm supposed to offer some insouciant commentary while you do your documentation, but I'm just not getting it. And it looks like the reviewers are all sort of agreeing with me. Reviewers wanted to like this, or unplayable, or worst puzzle game. And then one says, excellent, 4 stars, 5 stars. So that's like the developer's brother. It just seems like it's not a runaway hit, but it is pretty new. Also 500 to 1,000 installs, brand new.
Yeah. I'll say part of the reason why people don't like this game is because, they're lazy idiots. The game launches, there is no tutorial, there is no guide, there is nothing telling you what to do. You're literally dropped your first screen, you're on a desktop of a computer, and that's it. And then you have to basically click around, go through the computer, and then you figure out where the training missions are. You have to figure out everything. Then you have to go look for jobs digitally on the computer, kind of thing. That's the one thing I did like about this game was it let you discover it instead of it dictating to you every single little bit of the game. I'm becoming less and less of a fan of prolonged tutorial levels and just dropping you in and letting you figure it out yourself.
The best games of our youth were exactly that. Cubert. You didn't know what you were supposed to do in Cubert. Space Invaders. Of course, that was pretty obvious. Don't die. But, the best games were so readily playable that you didn't need a 30-second tutorial before every level, that you didn't need to, it really, Contra, right? The old up, down game that everybody loved. There were some complex gameplay dynamics in that one for its day, but you didn't get this button strafes and this is how you run and note that your people always shoot at an angle and you have to get under it. There was none of that. It was just here, play the game. And so in that way, this is kind of a throwback, but it looks like, again, I haven't played it, but just reading the reviews, it looks like they're maybe the current generation of gamers who've grown up having everything spoon-fed to them don't know how to handle that, or it's just badly implemented. Those are the only two ways I could take it at this point.
I'll say neither one absolutely, but definitely parts of them. This isn't a great, perfect kind of game, but I like this just because it forced me to look for stuff. And if you ever played Shadowrunner for SNES, it will make at least a little bit more sense. But that was also a game that when it came out, it just dropped you in and it told you nothing. It was one of the worst reviewed games of all time. Now it's considered one of the best of its genre. This game will not be that. This is not Shadowrunner, but it definitely is inspired from that game at least a little bit.
All right. Well, let me give you, this may be already in the attic. I may be bringing back an oldie, but a goodie, but this is one that I just had use for. So I thought I'd bring it. That'll give you an opportunity to do what you do. And that's Torque, TORQUE, the OBD, Onboard Diagnostic 2 app that you can use on your phone. And I'll find a link for you. To talk to an OBD reader. So the check engine light came on my truck, and I didn't want to have somebody charge me a ton of money to tell me what the problem was. So I went on our good friend podnutz.com/Amazon, spent $12 on a little Bluetooth device, downloaded this free Torque Lite app, and $12 later, I found out that my truck was missing, had a timing problem on cylinder number 7. So that's something that I need to deal with, but I didn't have to pay somebody to tell me that there's something I need to deal with. And it seems to be a fully full-featured app. There are other apps. There's a Pro and a Lite version, and there are other features that you can unlock. But reading the code, clearing the code, those were the things I was most interested in. But also it can tell you, your speed, your throttle, it gives you all kinds of diagnostics if you're the type who wants to set up a dashboard to have this thing running while you're on the road. You can do that. But my favorite about this is a lot of the readers that I've seen in the past, the inexpensive ones, will just tell you the code, 0379P. And you have to go look somewhere to figure out what that is. Well, this has the integrated database plus, of course, online connectivity. So it's handy. And I just thought I would bring it to the show. Torque, TORQUE Lite by Ian Hawkins.
Here's my question. Did you at some point in time have to identify your make and model of vehicle?
Did not. Just plugged it in and it knew what to do.
Oh, well, see, that to me is kind of like black magic and voodoo. It actually because I would think different cars, different manufacturers would have different code sets. So it literally was able to diagnose.
Well, the machine sends that information, I assume. The OBD port is feeding that to the reader. And so, it just knew. And in fact, I had downloaded this in preparation for the device to arrive, but when I pulled out the very tiny English instruction card that came with it, this app specifically said works with this, recommended for this device. So handy.
That's
It
cool.
can track your mileage. You know, I mean, this would be an excellent tool for spying on your young teenage driver. It will, you know, track the performance of, you know, your fuel, how efficiently things are running. So, you know, good stuff. The UI is a little clunky, but that's not a big deal to me. I'm a little clunky.
Yeah. I will say this app has been around for a while. It hasn't been updated since December 15th, 2015. But I'll say that's because one of the slowest moving technologies in the world seems to be car tech. They don't move on something until they're absolutely 100% positive. And even then, they implement things very slowly. So something tells me the ODB2, something like that.
OBD, onboard diagnostic.
Well, yeah, but then I believe there is a version 2.
OBD2, yeah.
Right. I'm guessing the specs haven't really changed much in years. I love the idea of this. I'm not going to lie. I love the idea of being able to audit my driving, you know, figure out, you know, exactly how much gas I'm using to the T kind of thing. But at the same token, I get in car, I push button on floor, car move forward. And I'm pretty satisfied.
What I find interesting is who was it early on in this show who was looking for a speedometer app and never could find one that worked well?
Yeah, I want to say that was Timster. What he was really looking for was like an overlay on top of his Google map. He didn't want it to interfere. Oh no, that was Steve D. Steve D definitely wanted the map stuff. Had to be him.
I have that app, by the way, if he hasn't found it either. Velociraptor. You guys familiar with that one? No? Just me?
The name seems too generic.
I never get to bring things to the show. This is two in one. No, it's Velociraptor. It's an overlay for Google Plus specifically. And it not only shows your current speed, but has a database of speed limits. So it tells me how fast I'm going and how fast I should be going. I
can't have this.
And you can set it up. I have it set to beep when I go 5 miles over the speed limit. Just so I know. I'm not going to slow down necessarily, but I just want to know when I'm breaking the law.
See, it's too late, Mark. I already beat you to this. It's called my wife. Oh wait. No, this looks, here's the reason I like this one. It looks like it belongs.
Right. It's just a little 2-icon overlay that you can move around on the map. You can put it wherever you want it. And the database is really impressive. I've been on lots of tiny little side streets that I didn't think you would have data for, and it does. It's a little slow to update. So if you go from like a 50 mile an hour zone to a 65 mile an hour zone, it might take it 45 or 50 seconds to catch up with you. But, you know, that doesn't bother me at all. Even to the point of on my drive on the way to work, there's a construction zone and they have temporarily reduced the speed settings in that construction zone, and that shows up on the app. So it's not, if not real time, it's definitely regularly updated data.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Here's where I'm really interested. I know it ain't going to, but I'm going to try it anyway to see if this works with my Android Auto. I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm pretty sure the maps that are being displayed on Android Auto are different enough that it won't work. I'm going to try it anyway, and if it doesn't work, I'll figure out, because I honestly like this for myself, but, you know, it's going to beep a lot.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it is if you just stay over the speed limit, it doesn't keep beeping.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you just keep speeding, it's fine. But like the icon turns red when you're going over the speed limit, and it's all configurable. And I'm seeing in the screenshot here on the Play Store, I never actually looked in there, but you can edit speed data. So if you go into an area that doesn't have any, you can edit. So it's crowdsourced as well.
Why? Yeah, but Velociraptor, is it me? Or is that like horrible SEO?
Yeah, I would say it is.
Okay, just let me make sure it wasn't me. Well, yeah, I'm gonna definitely give that one a shot, and I'll report back. I'm gonna have to use it when the wife's not in the car, because I can't give her fodder for the cannon she's pointing at my head when I'm driving.
Well, I find it useful, particularly in driving in unfamiliar areas. You know, I'm watching traffic or, you know, trying to figure out where I'm going, and it goes beep beep. Oh, okay, I am going too fast, so I slow down. And I have an intentional. You can set the tone, various tones, or you can turn it off entirely. I have it intentionally set at the most obnoxiously annoying beep, so that I can't feign ignorance. I know when I've been speeding.
Gotcha.
All right, what's your next app?
This one, I ain't gonna lie, Mark. This one is definitely a little bit confusing to some people, but I don't care. I'm throwing it out there. I believe we are coming upon a anniversary. I think it was actually this month, January, when this actually started. 1979. The name of the app is 1979 Revolution Black Friday, by Ink Stories. Mature 17 and up. Mature 17 and up. $4.99. AKA, this is not going to get billions of downloads. 64 reviews, average 4.4 ratings, between 1,000 and 5,000 installs. Current version 1.0.3. Here's the real reason why I like this. Years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting and hanging out with a professional wrestler by the name of the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik actually was a 1972 silver medal athlete in the Olympics. Long story. He said some things that got him in trouble back in Iran. He went in jail. He got broken out, came to America. The only thing he knew how to do was wrestle. So he was the guy back in the day who was called out to actually beat people up in the ring when they, overreacted, kind of thing. So I kind of have some interest in the actual revolutions that happened over in Iran. And that's what this is. This is a dramatic, step-by-step, choose your own adventure, 3D story mode on what happened in that revolution. You can either choose to be violent or you can choose to be peaceful. You choose step by step when you're going through this. Do you want to rally people or do you want to try to assassinate people? This is a very well done, is what I want to say. Unique thing. And I'll tell you this, it literally, no tutorial, drops you right in the middle of a dark room where you're processing pictures, and then immediately banging on the door, people want to come in and take you out and arrest you for something because you're actually part of this underground that spurred this revolution. A minute or two into the game, I reset the game and I did things just a little bit different, and the game was already different. Things were different a minute in, which I thought was very impressive. You play as a photojournalist, Reza. This is based upon real accounts, real stories of this real event, but it's put in dramatic gameplay fashion where you actually can learn stuff and play a game at the same time. And again, it is very mature, is what I want to say. Very mature.
So I'm looking at one of the screenshots here. There's 4. He's asking a question: is your camera or weapon? And there are 4 choices. Cameras can capture truth. Cameras capture truth only against the guilty. Anything as a weapon, or ... So what is the ... You get to fill in and the system responds?
No, when I got the ... it was basically, I'm like defying to answer.
Oh, silence. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. And the answers are basically, which attitude are you going to portray? The hard guy or the complacent guy, or, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. And at times you have to basically pull out your camera, take pictures to show the world what's going on. This is before the days of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff. This was the only way that news was getting out about this revolution. So I just thought this was different enough and interesting enough to bring to the show. I really wish it was around $2 and not $5. Hopefully it goes on sale, because I really would like people to try this and just let me know what they thought.
So it looks like the major complaints in the reviews are that it's too short. They want more. It's great, but they want more.
Yeah. Hopefully they come out with more chapters or deeper stories, I'm going to say, or maybe different stories like the French Revolution, or, other things that happen. But I only got maybe half an hour into it. I don't know how long it was, but maybe replayability, maybe because of the different choices, they're hoping you go back and play it again.
1,000 to 5,000 installs, updated January 7th. Just new stuff, hot off the presses for you folks.
Yeah. And just fun, dare I say. I don't want to say, people dying is fun, but I thought it was a fun experience.
It's kind of looks like a gritty version of Where in the World is, or Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego.
I'll go for that. Yeah. And I'm embarrassed again, Mark, because this next one also has a video to it. I'm really mad at the amount of games I'm seeing with videos. And again, this one I think is too expensive, $2.99. This really needs to be like $1.49, maybe $2. But this was definitely a retro thing. Again, this is like what you were saying, 8-bit graphics on a 64-bit chip. It's called Z-Exemplar.
Exemplar.
Say it again.
Exemplar.
Thank you. By Sumina Studios, E for Everyone Action. Only 4 reviews. 4.2 average reviews. Looks like there's literally one written review that I see. One version 1.3 doesn't even tell me how many installs, because I'm gonna guess it's 10. But this is a game that is available on Steam, on Mac, on Windows, that you can get. So there, it does already exist. It's almost like the game Life Force back in the day. The only downside about this game, it is really loud with the old school sound effects. But it's basically old school shooter, fly around, bang, 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 get power-ups. Very old school graphics, but unbelievably smooth gameplay is what I'm going to say.
Watching the video, I'm loving the overall tone of it. Like there's text that's scrolling by, and it's something like, doubt you'll meet much resistance, and the guy's just swarmed with things trying to kill him. Or, probably all about the same. And then there's this weird, bizarre world. It's like the game itself doesn't take itself too seriously. I like that.
Yeah. And the commanding officers basically are like, who's disposable this week, Jim? Kind of thing.
Red shirt.
Yeah. I had fun playing this. The only bad side, again, I'll say, unbelievably loud, and you almost needed the sound somewhat. So it, made me pause my podcast listening, which I usually just immediately refund, but this one I actually kept around.
Reading the description, Z-Exemplar combines bright, bold 8-bit pixel art with frantic action and epic mission to conquer a galaxy of almost 1,000 planets. So there you go.
Yeah. Dumb fun, and emphasis, I will say, on the word dumb.
Let's see. In-app purchases, so you get to upgrade your gear. I'm sure, you go buy a bigger bomb. Stuff like that.
Right.
All right. Next. I'm sorry, I have no filler, and there's nothing else. I just got a beat on you, Door. Come on, keep them coming.
You're right. Okay. This one, I actually was able to use for a little bit, and I did find it actually very helpful, only because I tried to install the Edge Ubiquity Router X in my network, and I am obviously not a network administrator. That's what I learned, because I made so much trouble. But so I was trying to find things on my network. I'm like, what IP address does this have? I can't remember it anymore. So I actually installed this application. I installed two applications. One was the port scanner Nmap clone thing. But then after that, I installed this app called RasPi Check, RasPiCheck. So I could easily connect to my Pi devices and figure out which one am I connected to. Am I connected to the Raspberry Pi 2? Am I connected to the Banana Pi Pro? Or am I connected to the Raspberry Pi 3? You know, I wasn't sure until I was able to load this app. And then I was able to actually see what was going on my Pi devices. This is basically a remote, I don't want to say monitor. It's a remote interface into your Pi computers on your network to see stuff like uptime, processor utilization, temperature, total memory, network settings, disk usage. And the disk usage is the one that I could honestly see using, like keeping and using, because on my own cloud, I want to make sure I do not run out of disk space. You could look at current processes and even reboot your Pi device on the fly. What I didn't take advantage of, there's also the availability to basically do custom commands. So if you want to reset the networking on demand, you can basically do an IF down, an IF up command, save it, give it a name, and then just run it by tapping a button.
That's pretty impressive. So it just an SSH into your device and runs the common suite of tools that is built into any Linux kernel, but presents them in a way that's useful. So I like it. And it looks like I'm looking at the pictures here. You can choose between different devices just by picking the drop down. So all you need to know at one point is your IP address, and you're good to go. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, to me, this is the exact same kind of thing as this is doing nothing spectacular, doing nothing different. It's just taking what's already in existence and putting it together. The one thing, honestly, I did like, which I didn't take advantage of, which I still might take advantage of, is you can put a widget on your home screen. Now, I might bring down a tablet down here, keep it off on the side, and see if I can connect it to all my Pi devices. And right there in one screen, have a widget for each device so I can see the temp, the load, the RAM, things like that. I think that would be actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And you can get a sense of if you're undervolting. I know that's a problem with Pis. People put substandard power supplies on it, and it'll actually show you the voltage getting to the device. So that's useful. Yeah, that's a handy. I like the widget idea. If you're big into Pis, I mean, currently I have one and it's running a media center, so it's not a big issue. But if you've got a bunch of them laying around, or you're doing like you are with your own cloud, that's a super useful tool to have available. And apparently I'm in love with the word super all of a sudden. But I like the widget with, on the picture there, you can see the RAM usage, the temperature, and not just numbers, but a pretty little graph there. Are you green, yellow, or red? So a dummy like me will know, oh, I'm green, so I'm okay.
Me too. Trust me. I've learned a couple things in life. Everybody understands higher numbers and lower numbers, but more people immediately understand colors. Red, bad, green, good, kind of thing. And I'll say this is only 848 reviews, 4.5 average rating, updated February 3rd, 2016. Like I said, this is doing nothing special, it's just using what's already in existence. Between 50,000 and 100,000 installs, which I'll say I'm shocked, because there's millions of Pis sold. I figured this would at least been a little bit more popular, but
I think probably people don't think to combine your Android phone and your Pi. I mean, in my mind, I had never really occurred to me that those would be companion apps. They're sort of two different worlds.
They are. The only pluses to them is it's a it is a interface that you already have on you, because that's one of the ways I think Internet of Things, the only way Internet of Things are going to be successful is if you can control them from your phone. And a lot of times when people use pies, the way I say it, you're basically using it as a Internet of Things device, even though you might not know it.
That's a good point.
Okay, I am literally on the nostalgia trip. And I'm sorry, I got to bring this because of the video. Not, let's ignore the video and video bad, but I'm bringing this specifically because the video. It is a $1.49 purchase. This is called Pixel Heroes Byte and Magic. If you remember, Might and Magic was one of the things back in the day. Okay. I'm going to first just tell you that it's by Head Up Games, role playing by a top developer, 1,632 reviews. Again, $1.49 to buy, 4.3 average reviews, updated August 25th, 2015. Okay. Well over a year, between 10,000 and 50,000 installs. And the real reason I'm bringing this video is to just soak in the nostalgia of the video. The whole video is like it is set in like 1982 is what I'm gonna say. Everything, the graphics, the resolution, the fuzziness of the video, the graphics they have on the screen. Even though they have an angry video game nerd doll on top of his computer, they're trying to make you believe this is, back in the 80s.
This looks like a cable access show from 1987.
Yeah. And what I'm going to say is, to me, this was almost like, I'm guessing this is like Might and Magic. I don't know. The only thing that when they're showing gameplay, when I saw the gameplay, because I didn't have time to really play with this, once I saw the video, I just had to, bring it.
Yeah. This is a video, right? So ordinarily that would be a negative, but the video doesn't actually show the game. So does that sort of cancel it out? Maybe
it shows pieces of the game, very small, but it actually is trying to make the video part of the cell, which is rare. You know what I mean? I do believe if they do a good enough video, enough people will share it, and maybe they'll get more downloads, but it hasn't been updated in over a year and a half. So I got to believe this video has been out there for a while, and I never saw it. I'm okay with that, because I'm going to definitely download this and give it a try. It looks like a slow paced RPG, turn-based kind of thing. But the video is just, I'm sorry. It took a lot of time for them to do this video, is what I'm going to say.
It's great. Oh, I could just sit here and watch this. This is awesome, but I won't. So let's see.
Yeah. And I'm going to guess there is extreme amounts of sarcasm in this game, which is why I'm really bringing it. I'm trying to remember the name of the game that I did. It's like not Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, Doom and Destiny. Incredibly filled with sarcasm, not family friendly. I'm going to guess this is on the same level. So yeah.
Yeah.
We all have our things, Mark.
This is, I have never really been old enough until now to get in on the nostalgia thing, but what's interesting is what we had to do in the 80s to do the best of the best, the highest quality. We would have done better if we could. Now people are dumbing things down to go back to that poor quality, in terms of nostalgia. It's the vinyl record thing, right? There's a reason that major labels don't release on vinyl anymore. They're not as good as digital, but the nostalgia crowd wants to go back and make them not as good. The same with this. It's a weird, people are weird. Humans are strange creatures. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, yeah, and that's one thing in history. The one thing somebody has to admit is the worst thing we do is predictions, and it's because you never know what a person's going to do. You know what I mean? You can try to make predictions 50 years out, 20 years out, 10 years out, 1 year out. And most of the time, people are going to be dead wrong.
Well, yeah, because you and I were talking before the show that I recently watched a movie that is set 500 years in the future. And the funny thing is, if you go back 500 years from now to 15 or 16 rather 17, 15, 17, math be hard. Forget the technology, although it's hard to say forget the technology because they're still related, but culture has changed so much since then. And you try to imagine 500 years in the future and, the Star Trek world or all that sort of stuff, you always just picture today with shinier things. But the fact is, culture will change so much that we won't understand, we won't be able to speak the language, we won't be able to understand anything about anything, because like you said, we can't even imagine it because it's not, whatever we could imagine is just today tweaked. We can't imagine what it will be. And so anything about the future, even if 500 years in the future or 500 days in the future, we're going to be wrong. That's the only thing you can be sure of. I had a better point there and I lost it somewhere in my rambling.
Well, no, you're exactly right. Because even if in 500 years they speak English, we're still not going to be able to communicate with them. It's just because terms are going to change and, meanings of word change over time. We all have to admit that. So, yeah. Weird stuff. I'm going to bring one more game, and apparently, Mark, I didn't even know. This apparently is nostalgia night for Door, because everything I'm bringing is from an earlier time, it seems like. This is no different. Okay. Quick thing. I'm literally having to end this show in under an hour from now and have everything done in editing in under an hour from now, because in an hour from now, I'm not going to be doing it. I'm going to be watching the Nintendo Switch thing live from Japan. Because we all have our things. Okay. Some people like illicit drugs. Some people like handguns. Some people like cats. I like Nintendo. Always have. I've been a fanboy. I mean, yes, I had a Atari 2600. One of them. I think it's a 2600. I had a in television, but once I got the NES, boom, done. Okay. Everything I needed in gameplay was right there. And then the Super Nintendo, everything I needed. The Nintendo 64, golden eyes, all I gotta say, everything I needed. The Game Boy, the game, I mean, everything. And they're announcing another one tonight. I spent over a year pounding The Legend of Zelda because there was no Game Facts. There was no internet. There was no magazine I could go buy at the store that would tell me every hidden secret in the game. That stuff didn't exist. I literally tried to burn every tree in the game. I literally tried to bomb every possible square on every possible screen in the game. I tried to do everything I possibly could in that game just to try to find every single thing I could about the game possible. This game is trying to ride the popularity of the classic Legend of Zelda game. It does okay. Okay. For $2.99, again, too damn expensive. Literally should be $1. It's called the Fable of Ruby by Hainam Ryu, I think. Everyone 10 and up, 24 reviews, no in-app purchases, 4.5 average reviews, between 100 and 500 installs, updated December 20th, 2016, current version 1.7. It tries to ride on that nostalgia train of the old Legend of Zelda, but it's definitely a little bit different is what I'm going to say. It's basically all dungeon based. You're only out in the public for a very short time, and instead of the guy going to save the girl, you start out as the girl, and the girl is being the hero, not the boy. I want to say Binding of Isaac, which was also Zelda influenced. There's some influence from that game into this as well. I will just say this game was fun. I don't think I beat it now that I'm stopping to think about it, but I know I got kind of far. The game gets hard as crap too. I will say that. Much harder than old Zelda, but it was definitely, I think, fun.
Yeah, I just can't. It's not my world, you know. I can't get excited about it, but I can see why you would.
It's just, too much Nintendo. I was the guy that made the excuse and said, "No, man, the Power Glove is awesome. What are you talking about?" Even though it really did suck.
Okay, so we gotta get the show over so that you can play this while you're watching the announcement.
Yeah.
So we're 8. Can you come up with 2 more? Can you get us to our 10?
I can easily do that. This one I downloaded just for my son to play with me and my son to play with. He's becoming more of a fan of the I don't want to even think game. And that's the way I classify this game. It's called Bang Bang Tennis by RasPi. E for everyone. Completely free. It does have some sort of in-app purchase. 3 reviews. 5.0 reviews. Yeah. Between 10 and 50 installs. Current version 1.0.0. Updated January 10th, 2017. Yes, it's quite new. Very high speed. It doesn't even have to be tennis. It could be ping pong or whatever because it's all the same. One of the biggest differences is the sides of the course the ball will bounce off of. The faster you're moving to the side when you hit the ball, the more of an angle you hit the ball. If you're standing still and hit the ball basically goes straight across. So there is some manipulation you can do to the ball, and it isn't just you just hit the ball. There is ways to make it more of an angle, less of an angle. Pointless fun, unbelievably fast though. This is like one of them twitchy kind of games. And there is some kind of
it's a lot like Wii tennis.
Yeah. There is some kind of multiplayer I didn't even try with the kid because the kid has his phone. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer is you're on the same device, which never ends up good as far as I'm concerned.
But it's like bumper tennis. You can bounce it off the sidewalls.
Yeah. It's almost like air hockey, where instead of there being a small goal behind you, the entire thing is a goal behind you. Basically.
It looks like fun.
Yeah, just pointless fun is what I'm going to say. I'm trying to think which one I'm going to bring. I'm going to bring this one only because I like the developer of the game, called Card City Nights. I'm not actually a fan of this style of gameplay whatsoever. But it's Card City Nights by Ludosity. T for teen, 99 cents to buy. See, that's a reasonable price, 99 cents. 1,080 reviews, 4.3 average reviews, between 5,000 and 10,000 installs. Current version 106. So this is very new. This is a card-based strategy like combat game, but it's by the same people that made It'll Do. And if you look at the video, all of the people in it are people from It'll Do, which is the game I brought. I don't even know how long ago, but it was a lot of fun. The same attitude exists in this game is what I'm going to say.
So card-based, like, I don't like Catan kind of card-based. How do you do card-based on an Android? I'm not getting it. Help me.
I want to say it is like Hearthstone. It's like Magic the Gathering. It's like all those quote unquote card based games that I really honestly don't get.
Okay, so like you've got a character and you've got to lay down the right character to go against the other guy's character.
Well, and you have a grid of 9 and you can make certain patterns and connect certain things for power ups to, push people up to higher levels kind of thing. It's almost like advanced war, where you just put down cards, higher card wins,
right.
Except it's much more complex than that. I play, 5-card draw, Texas Hold'em, Rummy, Flying Aces, not Magic the Gathering.
There may be a one-eyed Jack in a game I play, but no wizards.
Yeah. And there might be a Suicide King, but no princes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. There you go, folks. 10 apps, good and true. The Hacker 2.0 by Angry Bugs. Torque Lite by My Page Won't Refresh. Ian Hawkins. Velociraptor by Daniel Chow. 1979 Revolution Black Friday by Ink Stories. Z-Exemplar by Sumanel Studios. RasPi Check by Michael Prinkle. Pixel Heroes by Head Up Games. Fable of Ruby by Humyun Ryu. I don't know. Big Bang Tennis by Razmobi Sports. And Card City Nights by Ludosity. There you go. 10 apps, good commentary, and now Door has to go. But before you go, Door, if I liked this podcast so much that I just needed to support you financially, what would be the best way for me to do that?
Easiest way is Patreon. And I keep asking people, and apparently nobody wants to, but I'm going to ask again. If anybody has any ideas of Patreon rewards or goals to set, let me know, because I hate saying it. I only want to give the listeners what you want. I don't want to dictate what I think you want, because I don't know. Period. I want to give you guys something that you want, period. Because this is not about me. And if you say we just want to see more of you, then just tell me you want to see it. Okay, period. But I got to throw a last plug in there again. 1979 Revolution Black Friday won crap tons of awards. At least go watch the video of it, and you'll be very interested. And the last thing I'm going to throw out there is one more plug. The Switchcast is a podcast I've been listening to here. They just started a Patreon too. Really nice guys doing not rumor spreading of all this Nintendo Switch stuff, but diehard people talking about gaming and all this stuff going forwards. Support those who support you. They're really nice. They supported me. I joined their Patreon. I'm giving them some love back.
It's the right thing to do.
Do it for the children.
They are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. Hopefully Eric will be back next week, but we can be certain that the DoorToDoorGeek will be here next week, because he lives for this stuff. And now he's got to go watch a video about a thing that we might not be able to buy for several more months. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week, because that's it for this episode of the Android App Addicts podcast.
I've had a dry cough for the last week. I did everything in my power to not cough during the show. Okay, we are still streaming, Mark.
All right, I'll keep the F-bombs to a minimum.
This is probably junk, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, that there's the coffin. Okay. File. Save project as. I always save my project files in my documents folder. I don't know why. Seems like they fit there. They're documents, right? Yeah, sure, yeah.
Why not?
I almost never save, pictures pictures or video and video. Why should I start now? Export audio, bang.
I put everything on the desktop.
Well, this is actually an awesome window manager. So kind of is no desktop. It's weird. It's by far the weirdest desktop I've ever ran. It's really light. aka because it does nothing. It literally does nothing. Okay. Oh, what a week, Mark. I tell you what.
Professor Messer used to have a podcast called What a Week.
Yeah. I still see him post stuff once in a while. Goodbye.
He's a good man. I regret that our paths no longer cross as often as they once did.
Yeah, because that was the thing. 99% of the things that he does on his own, I just don't want to listen to. and I don't mean that meanly. It's just I don't want to know how X works or Y works, and I already know how Z works, so I don't listen to that. But listening to him on the producers podcast, I just liked him. Period. Really good show material. And just really nice. It helps.
He also likes money.
Yes, he does. Well, you like money? I like money too. This one goes in your butt. This one goes in your ear. This one goes in your mouth. Wait. Give me them back. This one goes in your butt. First comes across Brondo out of the water fountain.
It's got what your body craves. Electrolytes.
You don't even know what electrolytes are. They're what plants crave. So I really hate how accurate all that crap is. President Camacho. I love him, Terry Crews.
Yes. It's the first time I've ever heard him swear.
Yeah.
And he doesn't usually do that in his movies.
Yeah, the wife likes watching I don't know what is what it's called. He's in a show Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yeah.
That my wife loves. I like almost everybody in that show. There's a couple of people I just can't stand. Velociraptor was free too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Can't beat that, man.
No ads either. Just free.
I mean, they're selling. Okay, I'm gonna be like Seth and the guy with the accent. Well, they must be selling their money to the. Then they're selling information to the government. That's what they're doing. Fist shaking. And I pictured them all during that show shaking their fist. It's like, dudes. And I understand. I hate saying this. I understand paranoia because that's what some of it boiled down to. Come on. Whereas I say to my kids all the time, simmer down now. Simmer down now. Yeah, and I liked it how at the very end of the show, I can't remember what he said, but when he said it, you just went off. You can't say that. Not at the end of the show.
Yeah, an hour and 45 minutes in, he drops that discussion bomb. No!
Yeah.
I don't even remember now what it was. But
I can't remember what it was. I just loved your reaction. Yeah, that's not fair. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I totally forgot to post that show until last night. I usually do it Monday, and it releases Wednesday. And it's like I'm ready to go to bed last night, 9:30, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't post a show. Wait, I didn't edit a show. I didn't do anything. So I had to scramble.
Yeah, I knew I was up late. I saw that email come in my inbox. I thought to myself, maybe I should be in bed by now. And then around 2:30, I kind of said the same thing again. Just doing too much stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have.
Yeah, I didn't do any promo. I will. I'll get to it.
Yeah, well, blame me because my logic is we record the show. Once the show's done, we keep recording and we do it. And I keep forgetting too. Man. Okay,
I was going to do like a infomercial thing. Do you have trouble finding apps for your phone? Did you pay $500 for a fancy new phone and can't do anything with it but talk to people?
Yeah.
Probably better I didn't do that.
No, I mean, and that's the one thing I kind of wanted people to do 2 or 3 and literally just, do whatever. I mean, period. The whole point of a good promo is memorable. Not, hey, this is Mark, Android App Addicts. You like apps? I like apps. You should listen. I mean, you don't want to do that. You want to do something else.
You like money and having sex? You should listen to Android App Addicts.
And that's the thing. Some people actually get that too. They probably already listened. I like now that I can tell the range of the age of an app's update by posting it in the Google Plus community. The newer the app, the better it looks when I put the link in Google Plus, because Google, of course, knows how to handle Google stuff. Right. When I put in really old apps, all you get is the avatar in like the corner of the screen, and it doesn't look as good.
All right, my friend, I need to go. I will see you next week.
Yeah, next week should be good.
All right, later.
Amen. I'm going to turn the stream off here in a couple of seconds. Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to tell Mark. You should be getting rid of the spreadsheet here very soon, and we're going to upgrade to an actual PHP application on a subdomain like aaa.podnutz.com or something. Entering these things into the spreadsheet, it is just a pain in the butt. And there has to be a better way, is the logic. Okay, I'm almost done. Okay, bang, tennis. I'm shocked after 20 years, there's still stuff I'm learning, like Control Shift and V, paste unformatted text. So if you paste into a document and the text is humongous and oh man, I didn't want that. All you gotta do is Control Shift and V when you paste. And it comes across a straight ASCII text, not formatted, not bolded, not gigantic, not anything else. Hard City Nights, last app. Actually, I'm going to force myself to sit down and play that a little bit. 99 cents. 99 cents. Okay, let me do this. Mess that up. Copy. Paste. Paste. Copy. My head is killing me too. Paste. Looking good. Bang. Bang. Delete. That's done. I'm gonna post this. Like. Post. Show apps. Close. Close. Save that app. Come here. Stop the stream. All right, guys.